Hi, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Endless Celts Podcast. I'm delighted to be joined by Ross, mate. How you doing?
Very good, mate. End of another hard working week and ready to probably disagree with you on all things Celtic.
I'm buzzing, and I'm absolutely fucking over the moon. We've got Willie back. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, mate. It's been a wee while. Looking forward to
It has
again
been.
arguing with you.
Well, we're going to get stuck into a lot of topics tonight. You know what I mean? I didn't have time, obviously, to do usual topics. We're on a brand new streaming platform, so apologies if maybe some things go a wee bit wrong, but we're trying to get with the times and move forward and begin to on the podcast set this up for us. So we'll see how it goes. And thanks to everyone who joined us as well on the podcast and the reaction against the shambles that was seen over in Kazakhstan. It was good and get vent the frustrations out and things of that nature. But look, as I said, Willie, you haven't been on the while, so I'm going to start with yourself first. And it's obviously the aftermath of Celtic failing to qualify for the Champions League group phase or group league phase, whatever it's called now. Quite embarrassing result out in Kazakhstan. The penalty kicks were worse for wear, to be fair. And let's be honest, I mean, Grimsby had the biggest one, didn't they, beating United? So we're not as bad as them, but I suppose there's silver linings and everything, mate. But how did you feel after that game? And obviously the aftermath after it, all the comments you've seen, and let me feel your emotion. Let me hear what you think.
I've just got over it today. I think I was. I think deflated is probably the best word to use. It was probably the most boring game of football I've ever watched in my life. There was no tempo. There was no rhythm. It was slow. It looked like we were out of ideas in the final third. It was, yeah. I mean, we should be putting away a side like that. Obviously, it was just poor showing. I think this season so far with the way we started, we've not been setting the world alight, but we're winning games, we're getting through. And I thought it would be similar this second leg. To be honest with you, I didn't think we'd blow them away. I thought they actually did well against us the first leg, and they pressed us well this second leg as well. They didn't just sit in and defend; they actually came out and pressed us, which should suit Brendan's style of football. But I thought it'd be tight, but I thought we'd just be doing what we've been doing domestically and sort of we'd get the goal eventually. And we probably should have. There was 2 or 3 massive chances we should have put away, but it wasn't to be. But yeah, I think the overriding emotion was deflation. And it took me a couple of days to get over it. I'm only just getting over it today, to be honest with you. I've only just started thinking, oh, well, this Europa League might be a good laugh now. But I didn't even watch the Europa League draw or anything like that because I was in a bit of a stinker after that. But no, I'm over it now. Looking forward to Sunday.
I seen something today that there was like a magic show before the Europa League draw or something. And it was like, I have no idea what's going on. Some fella came out and was, according to Twitter, playing with his balls. I don't know how accurate that was.
Some magician like Russell Martin still in his job.
But like Gav said, I want to echo that. It's good to see Willie back on the pod, and we're going to have a good laugh as well. A couple of beers. Not that I know, Ross, you're doing a 40-mile run tomorrow, so you're going to be on other ways, drinking water and all that fun stuff. But Ross, I mean, it was high emotion, let's say, in our group chat after the game. When you can expect that after these types of events, and it's one of these ones, like Willie said, that maybe there was a bit of did we underestimate them? I know Rogers had that question posed to him. He said definitely not. I think their manager accused us of doing that. They're Kazakhstan champions by all accounts. So obviously they're in a decent outfit, but kind of echo what Willie said there. We should have been beating them, albeit maybe not convincingly, but we should have had enough in the tank to see that game through. And it's one of them ones. It's quite sombering, and as Willie said, it takes you a couple of days to go over it. I still haven't got the buzz for the Glasgow Derby game coming up here on Sunday. Usually I'm fucking chomping at the bit, going mental, but I'm deflated as well. And I'm happy tonight being on with you guys and buzzing, to be fair. But I mean, how are you feeling at the minute?
A bit like Willie. I'm over it now. I have to say, I actually was busy at work today and I completely forgot about the Europa League draw. So if that had been the Champions League, I would not have forgotten about it. I would have made actually time to listen to it or watch it. But the day, I just totally forgot about it. I'm not as excited. But to be honest, off the back of the draw, I'm trying to remember the teams: Bologna, Roma, Utrecht. I don't know.
Midtjylland, Braga.
Aye. There's some decent games in there. Difficult games as well, by the way. It's no games that you would take for granted that you're going to win. Especially know the way the team is now. It's difficult, but off the back of the other night, I was absolutely gutted. But I'm starting to get not excited for the Europa League, but I'm intrigued. I actually did say before a ball was kicked in the qualifier that as much as I want Celtic to get into the Champions League, certainly for a money perspective, it would be great. And then you're playing against big teams. But I'm also intrigued to see how we'll fare in this competition because, listen, it's not where you want to be, but that's where we are. But I'm sick of hearing about coefficient and beating teams left, right, and centre that Celtic can compete with as well as what Rangers can. So I'll be interested to see just how well we do in this competition. Because we've had a number of years where apparently they're European giants playing in the lesser competition, if you like. But listen, we can hark back to 2003 where we almost made it to the Champions League and we didn't quite get there, but then we went on the run in the UEFA Cup. I'm not comparing this Celtic team to that by any stretch, but if we can get out of this sort of group stage, then you just never know in the knockout stages. There is a lot of teams in there, providing we make the signings that we all hope. There is a lot of teams in there that we can compete with. I'm not saying we can win the competition, but if we get out the group stage, then I hope that we could go fairly deep.
Yeah, and I mean, like Willie, the Champions League's been and gone now. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, the aftermath after, we've all seen the reactions from people. We've all seen, the comments online and things of that nature. And just to go on the draw, got up my phone with Roma. We have Feyenoord, Braga, Red Star Belgrade. I can't say their name, but you forgive them now. You know me with pronunciations. Midtjylland, Utrecht, and Bologna, and that other team, Sturm Graz. I mean, again, yes, it's the lesser competition, and to be fair to us, all I've heard about is the Scottish coefficient. Who knows? Maybe a run in this competition, we'll be able to get that coefficient back up again with a couple of good wins. And I know the likes of Aberdeen were unlucky last night, and Hibs nearly pulled off a heroic performance over in Warsaw. So, there is Scottish teams up and coming. Hopefully they can make an imprint in Europe as well later on down the years. But, I mean, for ourselves, we're disappointed, but we'll have to look forward now. We can't always be, in the negativity stage and going back to what happened and what ifs and all that type of stuff. I'm not that type of person. I don't like the focus on what happened in the past. I'm okay, mate. But the Europa League draw as a whole, mate, how are you feeling? Are you quite optimistic about it?
I am. I think we could go deep, hopefully. But not with the squad and the current state it's in. We obviously need to do work this week to get bodies in. But for example, the team if we had the squad we had last season, I think we could go really deep in it. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, it's not where we want to be. I don't know if it's quite the Harris fencing's coming out yet again, but I don't think that fans are clearly unhappy. They've been voicing that opinion for weeks and weeks and weeks now. The manager's been voicing that every time a microphone's put in front of his face. It's like the people that are accountable for this should be the ones that are having to front up these questions. It's doing my head in that every time our manager sits down in front of a press conference or post-match or pre-match, he's getting asked these questions and he's having to answer the same question over and over again, and he's answering it the same question. I don't know if you've seen his press conference today. He never held back again. He talked about how we can't have this constant cycle where we get to a point where we're competing and then we stand still or go backwards. He actually went into depth about how he understands that transfers can take time, but for him, the 1st of July, the bodies should be in the door because they've got to then get out of hotels and get a home and get their family settled and all these sort of other anomalies on top of him, on top of the player then sort of getting to know his teammates, learning the style, to hit the ground running start of the season. Whereas we're waiting until, we're like that game on Tuesday was your biggest game of the season financially, most definitely, and we've come up short. But again, I'm talking about this transfer stuff. Everybody's banging on about transfers. Yes, we should have had them done, but in the same breath, like that team was more than capable of going and beating them. That starting 11, I think I was looking at it. I think that starting 11, other than Jota and Kuhn on the wings, was the same starting 11 that played Bayern Munich that game. I tell a lie, left back. But I would argue that Kieran Tierney's a better left back than Jeffrey Schlupp. So that's the same starting 11 that, took Bayern all the way. So there's something there as well. I think it's difficult for the manager. He's got, like I say, when he gets that microphone put in his face, and he's having a go at the board, telling them they need to get boys in the door, but he's also needing to motivate the team that he's got just now, which is difficult. If he's telling the media every other day, we need more bodies to help us, we need better players with better quality, that must demotivate your current squad, effectively telling them they're not good enough to play at the highest level in Europe. So he's stuck in like this sort of. I do feel for him every time he, like I say, he has a microphone stuck in his face, but I think he's been refreshingly honest every single time. And my biggest gripe with this whole transfer window saga is not that we've diced with missing out in the Champions League. It's that we're dicing with the fact that we've got a top class manager whose contract's running out at the end of the season, and we're not doing everything in our power to support him and keep hold of him. That's my worry.
What did you think about his comments today? I seen a bit of backlash. He was talking about the board and about talk of the disconnection or ruffled relationships. I'd say, and he said that couldn't be further from the truth. And I think he was talking about the board bleeds Celtic, and and for me, them comments were a bit like, what the fuck are you talking about in my head? Because for a couple of weeks there, he's saying about signings in quicker through the door, and then he's raging after the games, and he's come away saying this today. And it's a bit, for me, it's a wee bit of mixed signal. I don't know if you think the same, Willie, in terms of that, because yes, I get that he has to maybe not go 2-footed in the board and back them up in some sort of capacity, but to come out and say that the board bleeds Celtic when Celtic fans are pumping money in left, right, and centre, buying season tickets, buying tops, buying merchandise, and like you said, the transfers ideally should have been done way before pre-season really kicked off properly in Portugal, and even Brendan said that himself. But what did you make about the comments and the kind of the nature of the comments back to Brendan from fans that appeared on social media?
I think it's only natural that if you're digging out your boss every other day, that there needs to be a bit of a bit of like the other side of the coin. You need to you can't just keep digging out your boss and not expect to get like backlash. But for me, everybody bangs on about the board and the manager. Nobody's talking about the recruitment team. Like what the hell? What the fuck are they doing? For me, that's I don't like. Everybody's talking about the board no spending money, but it might not necessarily be the case. It might just be that the recruitment team's absolutely rank rotten, and we can't find a player good enough to play for Glasgow Celtic. It's absolutely baffling. I have no idea what's going on at the club on this side of things at the moment. But the fact that we've only got a few players in the door, and majority of them are project players or club signings, whatever these terms are nowadays. I don't understand them. Is madness. And for me, like I said, it's not the manager that should be having to front up these questions. It's the recruitment team and the board or whatever. Some sort of explanation to let us know what's going on, because nobody has a Scooby-Doo. It seems like sometimes the manager doesn't even know. He's just sitting like, I don't know. I've been told that we're getting this and that and X, Y, Z, but I don't know. But it's a different Brendan Rodgers for the last time round, because if this was last time round as well, he would have clearly walked.
Yeah, and you brought back to something there as well about the manager not knowing, because I signed off the podcast on I think Tuesday evening by going, I'll read you out a comment that he put on BBC Sports Sound, and right on cue, Ross texted me back, what does that tell you? Because I just kind of left it in limbo. But the fact that Roger said that he didn't have a clue what was going to happen or know what his budget was going to be, that's what it was kind of, the angle was, but I know I left it at that, didn't really explain myself. And 2 minutes later, Ross was like, what does that even tell you? But do you agree with what Willie was saying, Ross, in terms of, I mean, the recruitment team, like you brought your man in, the doctor of football, Tisdale, and Rogers was speaking about it today, about the recruitment, that it maybe needs improved again. So that's quite telling that he's went for Mark Lawwell, that the Paul Tisdale, and there's still question marks and doubt over, who they can attract or who they can scout. And like Willie said, and we all have a laugh about it, but there's players out there who would come into our club and do a fantastic job. I don't know how our recruitment team, I mean, is the lights off? Is the computers broke? Is Y-Scout not working? Is, what's going on? It's a shambles from top to bottom.
Rogers didn't like pinpoint one like area. He didn't say it was just him. He didn't say it was recruitment. He said it was the club as a whole, how they work, going for the boardroom to the recruitment team, down to the management, down to the players. And it's clear the message for the manager and the players is we need more bodies in to help the squad that's already there. The squad that is already there is a decent squad. We've got I said this last week, we've got a very good, two very good goalkeepers. We've got a back line that's pretty decent. Kieran Tierney's really good. Our fullbacks are brilliant. We've got really good options in the middle of the park. But it's the top end of the pitch where you get the goals. It's the most important that we're lacking in, and it's glaring. And I think it makes the overall squad look worse than what it actually is. If we get the quality in the areas, i.e. first choice players, it's not squad players. It's not guys that are going to challenge for a spot. It's guys that are coming in to take the spot that's absolutely void and filled with, for want of a better word, dross right now. But the message is clear for the players. For Cal McGregor the other night, we need bodies. It's clear for Brendan Rodgers. I don't know what the message is above that, though. The problem is, Rodgers has come out today and said, we need to improve on it, right? So he is aware that things aren't getting done fast enough, that ideally, like all the fans, including myself, even though everybody thinks I defend the board, including myself, I would love Celtic to get these players in before the qualifier, because that's how you want it to be. But there's like the fans and Rodgers and the players are in alignment. The problem is we don't know. Rodgers is telling us that him and the board are all aligned, but we don't actually know that. But there's no transparency for the board. All we want is, okay, we've not got the signs in. Come out and tell us why, and it would save all this bickering and doing and throwing and like people going all in the board. And like some people are absolutely livid, raging, going all in the board. And I'm no one of them. I try and take a step back because I'm no privy to what goes on behind closed doors, so I don't go all in the board. Doesn't mean I'm happy with the board. Doesn't mean I'm happy with the current situation where we've not qualified for the Champions League and we went into that with Yang and Forrest as our main winners off the back of losing Kyogo and Kuhn, not replacing that. This is not good enough. It isn't good enough. But I can't sit there and just have the assumption that Peter Law and co are sitting in the boardroom and going, fuck it, I'm not signing him. I can't be arsed. I want to keep that money. See, £100 million, I'm not spending it. Fuck, are they moaning? Fuck them. I don't give a fuck. Big cup of tea. Fucking Sports Direct.
Cup of tea.
It's nobody. He's not doing that. He's a professional. He's got Celtic at heart. He's worked and put a lot of his life into Celtic in the last 20 years. Now, he's not perfect. He's far from perfect. Nicholson, miles from perfect. Rodgers has alluded to that today. We can improve and we need to improve. And hopefully it does happen. But I still can't just sit there and go that they don't give a fuck and they're not doing anything. There's reasons why these signings haven't been made. And is it because the board are like holding off spending that money instead of, like we'll say, speculate to accumulate kind of thing. Because the signings are being made now, or they look to be going to be getting made. So there's lots of questions. So is it because the players you're trying to sign are not committing to Celtic because they want to know what competition they're going to be playing in? For all we know now, that obviously we've been tracking this Balakwisha for a while, so I think he was coming in regardless of the tournament we're playing in. But are we? Listen, I don't know if we're moving down from what we were initially going for, and now we're going for this Dahlberg. But he was playing for Anderlecht, and I think his team got put out of the Conference League qualifier. So it's difficult to say, but you don't know. Dahlberg looks as if he'll be a very good signing, by the way. That's not me saying anything bad about him. I'm starting to waffle here, but it is like, I just refuse to believe that it's just, we're not spending the money. There's things happening that we're not privy to that is stopping it from happening. And it's partly the board to blame. It's maybe partly Rodgers to blame, not pushing the board enough. I don't believe that myself, but it's a really difficult one for me anyway to get angry with the board as much as other people do, because I don't know the reasons why. If somebody done an interview and came out and tell us this is what's happened, this is why we didn't make the signings for the 45th season in a row, then it would help. It would help us all move past it. I personally have started to move past it because I'm a Celtic supporter first and foremost. I'm not a board member. I'm a fan, and we're in the Europa League. I want us to do well in that. I want us now to go for 3 trophies in the domestic front, and I will support that. And hopefully, we'll get bodies in to help the team in the next few days, and we'll hear all the sound bites say it's too late, it's too little, too late, and all the rest of it. Aye, it is, but you know what has happened? We're not in the Champions League. We need these players in, and we need to go on all fronts for what we're in, and just support that. Like Brendan Rodgers said in his press conference today, move on, and hopefully next year, all this pish will finally be put to bed, and we'll do it before the qualifier. God rest that we, or God willing, sorry, that we win the league, which I'd be surprised if we didn't, with the greatest respect to Curtains.
see as well though, right? Yeah, you mentioned reasons. There's a lot of people disagreeing with in the comments. Football is life is saying that it's all on the board. Sam Fran said, I judged the players in that pitch, they didn't give a fuck.
I trust the guys that are sitting in the boardroom and they're privy to it then, aye. Must be.
Our last good window was Mark Lowell. It's not that mind blowing. But see, to come back at you, you made a couple of interesting points, right? You said you don't know the reasons, right? You two are back, aren't you? You two are back. I'm loving this. Bring it on. But here's the thing, right? So to come back at you a wee bit. So you said about you don't know the reasons. And yeah, we don't, right? But when you see reports about, for example, the Go Ahead Eagles winger, Jacob Broom, or whatever his name is, or Burham, right? He's worth 6.2 million, apparently, according to their chief executive. And we're firing about 2.5 million, being like, take it or leave it.
How do you know?
And then he comes out because he actually came out and said it. He said their chief executive came out and said, "This is word for word. You can check it. Celtic should do their business a bit like Rangers." And then at the end of it, he finished the quote by going, "Ha ha," and that was the end of it.
Oh well.
So they signed Olive Rantman from Go Ahead Eagles, I believe, for whatever fee it was. But my point is, right, historically, from what it looks like on the outside, might be wrong, might be totally wrong, and the board are right in this instance, but I'm just coming across both arguments. It seems like the board are constantly lowballing clubs when it comes to bids. And then we're wondering why.
Seems like
what? Yeah, but then what's the reason then? So if you're getting reports that Celtic are putting in bids of 4 million for someone worth 8, we were after Balakisha for the best part of 12 to 18 months. His asking price was 5 mil back then. We wouldn't pay it. We've paid it this time just to get him through the door. So there's obviously factors that the board aren't doing stuff quick enough. like Rogers mentioned today about the investment being timed well. He mentioned that needs to improve. So, there has to be a conscious effort from everyone at the club to get this improved. I'm on board with you, by the way. I do hope there's a sea change, and next year, things maybe go in a different direction, and we could be sitting here this time next year being like, "Fuck, that was unbelievable business." But at this moment in time, for me, as my personal opinion as a fan, we're being shortchanged because
I don't disagree.
yeah, but if what I'm trying to say, if Celtic are lowballing clubs, then how do you expect business to be done? If
Yeah,
we're going to the last week of it,
I get
Well,
that, but what we are saying is you're reading a story on fucking X and you take it as gospel truth, whereas I don't. We've spent money last. We didn't lowball for Engels. We've broke a transfer record. I think if the club think that it's right, then they will spend the money. But I'm not going to comment on like riff-raff rumours all over the internet because I just stress myself out and be here. Fucking, I'd lose even more here than I've lost stressing about all that stuff when I know it's no gospel truth. I say always, I don't believe a word until the scarf's above the head. Like, fucking wee Jimmy the plumber on X has said, "Oh, my granny's uncle's goldfish told me that he was at Lennoxtown and fucking they lowballed a bid." It's like why get stressed about that and why? I feel like some fans, I'm not saying this is you, Stephen, but it's almost like you see that and it's just latched onto straight away because it's a negative point, and it's like, yes, we can point fingers at X, Y, and Z. When, and by the way, again, this is going to look like I'm defending because I'm not. This transfer window has been abysmal. Last year, we spent a good amount of money. We've improved our finances again. I was looking forward to us, improving the squad and possibly even breaking that transfer record again this season. That's what I was looking for in this transfer window, because we spent a decent amount in this last transfer window. I've totally forgot what my point is now. What was I saying about?
Been there, my friend.
So there's a lot of so everybody ignores all the positives in the last however many windows. There's been a lot of good signings in that as well, but everybody forgets that because it's as soon as we've got a bad window, it's like, right, why the fuck are we not doing that? And I get it because we need to do better. And this window has been abysmal. I've jumped on that train myself and been like, look, this isn't good enough. It's not. Which you're hearing stories about us hanging on to players because we can't get any more. Well, why didn't we do that with Kuhn before the qualifiers? All these rumours about other clubs are holding off because we want to see where we are. Well, why don't we keep holding our assets and qualify? And then, I get all that. Totally understand that as well. I do feel like sometimes this rumour mill goes around and everybody jumps onto it, and it could be true. I don't know, but it could also be absolute nonsense. And that's when everybody starts to jump on and point fingers. It's ridiculous to the point that Brendan Rodgers doesn't wear a tie and everybody's like, he's off. It's absolutely bonkers. Social media has made it absolutely bonkers.
Well, I mean, what do you think then? I mean, there's Rubber Duck. What a name, by the way. Apologies, I do notice some of these comments are coming up really small font because of this new streaming platform, but I will change that for next week. But in terms of Rodgers blaming all this, do you think anything could be laid at his door for the results that we've seen against Karat and failing to qualify for the Champions League, or is it just
Is that blame for the European tie, or I'm not wearing a tie at Aberdeen?
But I mean, there has been a fair share of heat, so there has,
and I get that as well because I am the biggest Brendan Rodgers fan. You know that when he left, I was one of the minority in the podcast that didn't want him dead. And I was absolutely over the moon when he came back. I think that he's top manager. Like I said at the start of the show, one of my biggest gripes about this window isn't like about not qualifying for the Champions League. It's the fact that we've got a top class manager and our mids is in the last year of his contract and he could just walk because he's not feeling the support. They've not learned a lesson for last time. They've not learned a lesson for previous Champions League qualifying campaigns, however many it is, we've not qualified, and the teams that we've seen, we should be beating. Both the teams on paper, we should beat that team. Like I said, that starting 11 on Tuesday night, there was, other than like Tierney in for Schlupp, which I feel's an upgrade, I think most would agree. Other than that, the only two that are missing are Jota and Kuhn. So it's still the nucleus of the team that took Bayern all the way in the Champions League. So if they're not playing that same style of football, I know it's early in the season, so you can maybe say that like we're not up to speed yet. But yeah, it's down to the manager to motivate that team. That's all down to mentality for me. That like the other night, it's nowhere near the level that we've been recently. But in saying that, I mean, everybody's not, well, I was going to say everybody's not flying off the handle if we put one away their chances away and win that tie, but everybody fucking still would because of the transfer saga. But I think most would agree Forrest should probably put his chance away with the header. Maeda should 1,000,000% put his fucking chance away. And Hatate, when Ida pulled it back for him, he should probably put that chance away also. If we put one or two of them away, we're talking 5-6 competitive games without losing and conceding one goal. Take away the performances. I know the performances haven't been where we should be. I think everybody's pretty pleased with that. But because the way we've went out, it's obviously, and it sticks. Obviously, I'm fucking devastated we went out as well. But I don't think it's. I feel like a lot of the fan base are in dire straits, as if it's like where the Rangers are at the moment, and I don't think we're anywhere near that. I think that I don't know this mentality thing. Again, the manager seems to be a bit downbeat, getting questioned about transfers all the time. And like I said, it must be hard to motivate a squad of players that you've got when you're constantly telling the world that we need better quality in. It's a difficult juggle. He's spinning a lot of plates right now, and I think some are maybe dropping and smashing. Like we've said, we shouldn't be going into a qualifier with a 32-year-old James Forrest in one wing and a Yang in the other wing. So yeah, it's a difficult one, but there should be definitely blame on Tuesday night. As much as I would blame the board or the recruitment team or whoever, because we should have transfers done, the manager and the players have got to take a lot of blame as well, because that team and that squad should be beating that team comfortably.
Yeah. I know, I totally agree. Do you know what I mean? And again, it's the Rodgers issue here. Whether people have different opinions on it, Ross. Michael Mitchell. Sorry, hard to motivate a squad when we all know what being new manager next year. And I think, and by the way, apologies, but I'm pretty sure it's O'Dougall. I hope I got that right, because it is an Irish name, and I'll be fucking embarrassed if I didn't get that right. But O'Dougall was saying that he's trying to think different against the Kazakhstani team, and that seems to be a major gripe among the supporters, that there was no kind of freshen up with the ideas, maybe go to a forward two and try and pack the midfield area and win that kind of battle. Obviously, this is all in hindsight now, but the whole Rodgers issue, I mean, the amount of comments that I seen after the fact was, get him gone, he's done, he's going to walk, and all this stuff. Obviously, emotions are high. I'm very reactive as well, as you all know. But can you get on board with any of it? Is there any, like what Willie said there, I mean, trying to motivate players, but then you're wanting new players in. They know this in the back of their mind. They're probably thinking, will we be even playing if we get these new players in? So there's a lot of things that are probably going around the goldfish bowl, so to speak, of the squad.
It's the issue is the transfer window being open when the season started. It's difficult for all managers. You even seen Russell Martin. He was talking about it, albeit he was using it as an excuse, which he could to an extent. But in terms of like Rodgers on Tuesday night, I don't think it was completely blameless. Obviously, his hands are tied because he has to be honest and say we need signings, which obviously in turn, like we've alluded to, doesn't help the current players knowing that the manager thinks, okay, right, if we get into that tournament, we're not good enough. The guys in the front line anyway, barring Maeda. But I agree, I don't know who it was that put the comment in. I do agree that Rodgers maybe should have changed tact a wee bit, even before the game, because the issue for me is in Brendan Rodgers' first season in charge, when he came back, I think he had at one point he had Palma on one side and he had an unfit Kuhn on the other side, and Palma always comes back inside, and then we end up recycling the ball. Kuhn was doing it at the time because he wasn't fit. He'd lost his turn of pace and whatever, and it became really predictable because of that, and it was really easy to defend against. We then went a period where it was really good at the start of last season for 6 months, where we were playing with Maeda on one side and Kuhn, a fully fit Kuhn, on the other side. And they were getting beyond their man, they were running at their man, and it was forward-thinking play. Therefore, it was harder to defend against. For me, it's no coincidence that we're now running with, for the most part, Yang on one side, Forrest on the other. The first game against Kyra, it was clear that Forrest did not have the beat in his fullback. Yang is just, he's not good enough for Celtic. And that team are a well-organised defensive unit. It was well documented that that's how they got through their previous ties. And it went back, it was verging on, albeit in a more condensed period this time, and we hope that it doesn't continue, but it was verging on that period in his first season when he had Palma and Kuhn, an unfit Kuhn, where the two legs, it was, nobody was getting to the byline, nobody was going beyond their man. They were coming back inside and recycling the ball, and it was very predictable. And it was easy for this team, who were a well-drilled, well-organised defensive team. They came to stifle and be stuffy. And Celtic played right into their hands, because when you play with a 4-3-3, your wingers are a really big part of that system, where they need to be pacey, they need to be direct, and they need to get balls in to your main striker. And the players on both sides at the minute, Maeda is, I don't know if some people say he wants away. He's certainly out of form at the minute, so that doesn't help either. Then you're looking at bringing guys like Yang into the team, who's not going to change it. So for that reason, I think probably Rodgers should have changed it. I think even yourself, Stephen, had said after the game that why not go to two strikers, maybe the last 20 minutes of the game, even if you're not starting that way, because it was clear for a full 90 minutes in the first leg, and if you want to change it at 70 minutes, and 70 minutes of a second leg where it's not working, the 4-3-3 is not working, the players that are trying to play that system, certainly in that front three, it's not happening. So go to up front and just change it and give them a different puzzle to solve, if you like. But it didn't happen. It was just same and like for like, and that was disappointing. But then at the same time, he probably turns around and he looks to his bench and he's like, who's the game changer here? I've got Hatate on the pitch. You would look to him to be a game changer. He was poor the other night. He's not in great form for me.
That's one that I would... Sorry, mate. That's one, just to jump in, that's one for me that I was screaming out for when I'm sitting watching it's not even so much a formation change, but, and that, you know me, I am Hatate's biggest fan. I think on his day, he's the best player in the league. I really do. I know a lot of people getting his back sometimes. I think there's some games you can see he's clearly not at it. And we've got a player on the bench who every time he comes on, he gives you a 7, 8 out of 10, grabs a goal most of the time. And Luke McCowan, and when he did come on, he nearly did grab us a goal. I'm screaming, he should be on that park half an hour before that. Especially for an our midfield three, he's probably the only one out of the 6 players we've got in that midfield three that gets into the box and gets us goals. Other than what was the the short time we've seen Negrin, he can do that as well, obviously. But
he was awful that night.
I know. But for me, you don't necessarily need to change formation. I just think sometimes that substitution takes too long when you're needing a goal. Like, I think if Luke McCowan's name, see if he was Negrin and came in, he'd be starting every single game. Every time he plays for us, he gives us a 7, 8 out of 10. And I don't know, I just think he gets overlooked sometimes, especially when we need a goal. I was screaming for that the other night, especially when Hatate was, like I said, he was off it. And I can understand. I know why he keeps Hatate on, because he's got that one moment. Like he could put 30 yards on the top bag, or he can hit that pass. But I just found that really strange that McCowan didn't come on till really, really late on. Engels and Ida, I thought, actually made a difference when they came on as well. Yeah, I don't know. For me, it wasn't so much about changing formation. Maybe I stick 2 strikers up, but I just thought that the personnel could have been changed sooner for me.
Listen, I'm not agree with that, by the way.
Just got a shiver down the spine there. Oh, don't be saying that. Football is like...
He'll be putting fake eyelashes on fucking Instagram and that next.
Bro, sorry for cutting you off, mate. What are you going to say?
I'm just off the back of that. Like, I wouldn't agree with that. Like, listen, I can understand play that similar type of position, but Negrin, I think even in the league games, I think he's done really well and he's got goals and assists, but I still think he looks quite laboured. I don't know.
Yes, bro, bang on.
But I don't know if he needs to get up.
Look at us. Who would have thought it?
I know.
Not me.
No, but listen, I think that might come with games. Just as the season progresses, like a lot of players, maybe he's just that type where he's not a natural athlete. He's quite a tall guy. He's quite big, but maybe he's not a natural athlete. But that fitness and that speedy play will come, because he hung about in the ball so much the other night and kept losing it, and it was really frustrating. Hatate was poor. So the midfield didn't play well at all. Negrin a poor game. He was class, loved him. Negrin a poor game. Cal McGregor had a poor game. Hatate had a poor game. Like Wally, I was looking for McCowan to come on. As I was going to say earlier, when Rodgers is looking to his bench for somebody to change that game because it wasn't going really well, he turns round. Listen, Engels, I like him. I think he's a really good player. He does all the facets of what you would want your midfielder to do to a decent level, but he doesn't specialise in anything as such. He's not going to be the guy that goes on and gets you the goal unless it's a penalty. He's brilliant at penalties. Rodgers probably looked for him to come on and show the delivery for corners and set pieces that he showed against Falkirk, but his delivery was absolutely abysmal the other night. You turn around and look at that bench and you want somebody to get you a goal. The man who's on the bench and the midfield is Luke McCowan. He has to come on earlier. I totally agree with Willie on that. But listen, the game is done.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't good enough over the 2 legs, and we should have been. But I said before a ball was kicked that I wasn't happy that we didn't get the signs in to help this team. But I also said that if we can't beat this team with the team we've got, then we don't deserve to be in the Champions League. We didn't do that, and our penalties were completely and utterly embarrassing, shambolic, gutless. I was going to say all the superlatives, that's not superlatives. But all the words that you want to be negative with, that's what the penalty kicks were. We don't deserve to be in the Champions League because we didn't play well enough, and we don't deserve to be in the Champions League because we didn't invest in the squad to help us do it. So we move on.
See, for me, just a touch on Negrin as well. I feel like he takes 3 touches more than he needs to every time he gets the ball.
Aye.
And I know, I think a lot of the team did that midweek. And for me, that's not Rodgers' style of play when we're playing at our best. Is nobody takes any more than like 2 touches in the team, and it's just about moving the ball. And yes, recycling it, moving it side to side, but nobody's holding onto the ball for any longer than 2 or 3 touches at most before they're popping it off again. I've not seen any of that. Not in the European ties. Oh, I know he's been murdered the last 2 sets of pens anyway.
Honestly, I was watching the game myself, and I was actually thinking to myself, do you bring Sinisalo on? Because, frankly, Kasper Schmeichel's performance in the penalty shootout in the cup final, he never got near any. But then I was like, was he still with that injury? He's just, for me, I would have brought Sinisalo in. I think he looks more agile. He's younger. He would get across his goal probably quicker maybe than Schmeichel would in a penalty shootout situation. That's not me saying I would play Sinisalo before him, because I wouldn't in game. But I agree. I think that Sinisalo could have maybe came on for the penalties.
What do you think of him? Did you see him, like, beforehand, the refs try to explain to the goalkeepers and he's like, come on, get on with it, and he just seemed moody as fuck before he even... I don't know, just didn't get off fives. That's the other thing that pisses me off even more. That was their third choice keeper, I think, that was in for fucking them, and he ended up winning them in the fucking game.
By the way,
I was like 12-year-old and he's only played 1.5 games his whole fucking life.
He didn't hate to be good to save the penalties.
Oh, I know. He could have had no errands and saved them.
I don't know what it says about the rest of the players, because Maeda was the last player to step up, and he was the last player to step up, if I remember right, in the Scottish Cup final when he missed his penalty. I never had any confidence that he was going to score that when we needed a player to score it. Absolutely no confidence whatsoever.
Was Nygren still on, or had he been subbed off?
I think he came off.
Did he? Maeda has got obviously an abundance of talent, and he's got many skills, and he won Player of the Year by a country mile last year. There was nobody even anywhere near him, but technically he's not gifted. The amount of times he'll beat a man and then ping across into the fucking stand behind the goal. For me, he shouldn't be taking penalties. He's not. Technically, he's not. Like every time he gets through, well, I would say 90% of his goals for Celtic are like 6 yards out, where he finds himself in the right spot at the right time. You can see. I felt similar with Kyogo, where it's like, is it when they've got time? Like they ones where he goes through one-on-one, when he's got time, I've no idea why he shifts that onto his left foot. I know he's trying to cut across the defender to stop him from getting back, but you've still got time to then either round the keeper or get him back. There's 100 things he could have done other than what he did do, which is just put his left foot laces through it and into the crowd. I've technically I think he's so much better when it's a reaction for a goal, whether it's a cross and he needs to react to it. A bit like Giakoumakis was like that. Remember, it was always like one-touch finishes. I think Maeda's much better than that. I think when he's got time and he has to think about it, and again, like I say, I don't think he's the most technically gifted footballer. I think he struggles a wee bit. That's why I would take qualms about... I'll always have... I know he had a great finish at the end of last year, but I would always take qualms about him being a striker. I prefer him on the left, personally. I think he's
not an out-and-out finisher.
We need a finisher. That's exactly it. We need a Giakoumakis or somebody that just... I don't care, or a hooper. I don't want him to do anything. I just want him to stand in the box, put the ball in the fucking back of the net. That's it.
See, Maeda, he's, as you said, he was outstanding at the end of last season, and he should have been Player of the Year. He's either... He can have moments where he's like Maradona at times. Some of the finishes that he comes up with, the one against, I think it was a cup game last year where he lobbed the keeper. He got a hat-trick that night.
Aye.
And then other nights or other days, like the other night, he turns up and he's like, he has moments where he's like the guy that gets drafted in last minute for fives, and he turns up in jeans. It's just... The
flare jeans he used to wear in the early noughties, too.
There's no in between with him. Like, there's no in between with him. And I think that one-on-one chance, he's missed a few like that, hasn't he, in important games? And it's like what you said. Well, I totally agree. When he has time to think, that's it. His mind goes all over the place. But saying he's instinctive and he's on the ball quickly and he's just smashing it first time, 9 times out of 10 it results in a goal. But I mean, that chance for me was hard.
Sorry, Stephen. I was just going to say, Gavin actually highlighted a number of chances that he missed towards the tail end of last season, and then the one that he missed, obviously. Your arm okay?
No idea, man. I thought you knew this person. I don't know.
Just maybe it looks like I've got it in a sling. I'm just sitting in my arms. Gavin had he highlighted a couple of chances and towards the end of last season where he missed big chances where we would have won the game, and then it was off the back of the first leg where he missed the big chance where we would have won the game as well. So obviously off the back of that, he cannot be our first choice striker because he isn't an out and out finisher. Any strikers we've had in the recent past, they're ice cold, if you like, in front of goal. You know that most of the time when they get the chance, they're going to score it. Albeit, listen, sometimes Kyogo needed 2 or 3 chances before he took his chance.
Exactly,
but then other days he would just be on fire. But I don't know. Maeda's, as much as I like him through the middle and he can play it, for me, he's more effective for Celtic out wide.
I think. See if you listen. Sorry, Stephen. There's like. See if you, there's loads of things on like YouTube or like Gary Neville's Soccer Box, I think it was, where you see the likes of Michael Owen and like Andy Cole and all these top players. Every single one of them say when they're 1-on-1 in the keeper, it's like it's ice cold, like Ross said, in their veins. They're almost like Michael Owen used to say, like, I'm going and I'm waiting for the keeper to do something before I decide what I do. That's like a split second where I seen him run another day. He fucking pied me when I drove by him. There's Michael Owen and the likes. They talk about how they actually watch the keeper and the keeper decides for them what they're going to do. That's obviously like top of the like elite as elite can be. And then there's a split second, and then they just do like the keeper almost tells him telepathically what he's going to do, and then he'll either put it through the legs, lob him, go around him, or smash it. Whereas the likes of Maeda just gets through and just puts his foot through it. He doesn't look at what the keeper. He could have rounded the keeper there in that situation. In fact, his body movement, because he's cut across the defender and put it on his left foot, that's probably the easier thing to do. Or he could come back. There was several different things he could have done, and he's not. But I mean, he's done so many good things for us in the last season and a half, or last couple of seasons, I should say. We're bringing it down to one chance, which is maybe a bit unfair, but it's because of the magnitude of the game and where we are in that situation. If we won 2 or 3-0, we wouldn't even be talking about the chance. But like Ross says, I think it highlights the fact that we need a striker that's a stone cold finisher. I don't want him. I don't mind if he's not tracking back or doing all that work. We've got plenty of bodies in the park that can do that. I just want somebody that can put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, 100%. Like a Gary Hooper type striker. What a player! You know, Moussa Dembele. You know, even Scott McDonald to a certain extent. If you go way back, he was a good finisher in the box. But I agree with you guys.
I think that's funny how you say go way back and it's Scott McDonald.
No, I mean, in terms of
way back for you.
No, fair enough. But a couple of years ago, Scott McDonald was putting them in for Celtic in the Champions League against AC Milan. But I think for me, watching that performance against Karat, Maeda needs to be on the left. Tell him to close down, feed off chaos, get in the box whenever he can. We need a natural finisher, someone we can rely on to get us 20+ goals a season. Now, you mentioned, Ross, obviously the game's finished and that, and, we're probably going to have a semi-long podcast night in terms of covering a few things. And a couple of players, I always do when you're on, Willie, a couple of players that copped a bit of heat, so to speak, rightly or wrongly. I'm on the back of this game while we're leaving it behind, but I just want to discuss the player themselves to see if there's any concerns over them. First of all, Kieran Tierney. Got a lot of, on what I'm looking at, a lot of grief online about looking unfit, looking worried about going 1-on-1 with their winger at the time. Looked slow, like you were describing Negron, and the fact that he can't last over 60 minutes. Is there any concern from you at the minute, or do you think we're just easing him back into that kind of full game presence and there's no real worries yet?
Is that for me?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. No, there's no concern. It's been well documented that Kieran Tierney's had a number of injuries the last kind of 2 or 3 seasons. Celtic are managing him really well. If it's 60, 70 minutes he can play, then 60, 70 minutes he'll play, and he's done well. Listen, he never played brilliant the other night, but nobody did. And Kieran Tierney's done okay if he came back. He's had a couple of assists, and just the presence of Kieran Tierney being in that Celtic team adds to the team alone. There's plenty of time for Kieran Tierney to get up to speed. He's played, what is that now, 5-6 games?
Yeah.
He's not been injured. Rodgers is managing him well. I'm quite comfortable with it at the minute. And I think, as I say, there's plenty of time for Kieran Tierney. Like Negrin, he's maybe, well, he is needing a bit more time to get up to full speed. But in the meantime, he's still contributing for Celtic. And he'll contribute even more. And listen, Kieran Tierney probably will get injured, but there's any single player in that team could get injured at any one time. So it doesn't worry me. He's probably maybe a little more susceptible to injury than others in the team. But for the most part, if we manage him well and we get a good backup, which has been reported that we're in for Sunday, then that can help as well. This guy can play domestically. Kieran Tierney can come in for the European games and play domestically as well, of course, but he doesn't have to play full games if we're maybe getting 2 or 3 up in a game. You can take him off and manage him even in the middle of the season and bring his backup in. Even Inamura could come in at times and play domestically and help out. There's a number of options for Celtic. I'm absolutely comfortable with the Kieran Tierney situation right now.
The fellow you referenced there, I think it's Marcelo Sriracha. He was actually training with the team today, and there was footage of Brendan Rodgers being able to speak Spanish to him, so I'm guessing he's loving that. But we'll come on to the incoming shortly. I just wanted to cover off Kieran Tierney here first of all, but we'll come on to the new players that come in the door today. But Willie, we all know that you both love Kieran Tierney. You also loved Greg Taylor. I did as well, making it sound like I hate them both. But is there any fitness concerns for yourself? And I think you did mention it before. Like, why is he not getting above 60 minutes? It's a bit of a headache. But he's coming off or shifting scales to the left. For me, it upsets the rhythm of the team a wee bit.
I agreed. I've seen a lot of comments digging out KT tonight, and I'm going to polar opposite way. I don't see. I feel like I feel personally, I must be watching a different game because I think he has looked fit enough that he doesn't need to come off. Obviously, Celtic are managing it. I think he's looked pretty fit. And he's got what, we've played 5-6 games. He's got 3 assists and we conceded 1 goal. What more are you wanting for your left back? I don't understand all the criticism. I think because we've got a negative result. I know you said a couple of players. I'm assuming who you're going to come on to next, and it's the skipper. I feel like that.
How the fuck did you know that?
Because everybody's digging him out now. And I just feel like, again, it's a negative result, so people want to start pointing fingers, and they just try and pick. There's not one player in the team on Tuesday night or in the first leg that had pass marks. I don't know why you want to pick on X, Y, and Z. Not one of them had pass marks.
I'm not. I'm just bringing it up.
No. I know. No, I'm not saying to you. I mean in general. I don't understand why people go looking for specific. The whole team was ranked rotten. I don't think there's any individuals that I'd pick out more than others that were worse than others. As a team, collectively, we were poor. Like I say, I know San Fran's digging out KT non-stop tonight. I'm going to hate to meet him outside a chippy for a square goal because I'm not having him slag KT like that. I don't see it personally. It might be just me. It might be maybe my love for him is clouding my judgment. But from what I've seen, I think he looks fairly fit. And like I say, for a left back coming in, if he was a brand new left back and we've got 3 assists out of him and we've conceded 1 goal in 5-6 games, the stats look pretty good, pretty impressive in my opinion.
Yeah, I think for me, like, he's done his job. So he's got to the byline a few times. He's whipped in a few balls. It's his job, and a couple of assists in regards to that. And he's looked pretty solid defensively at domestic level. Obviously, hopefully his fitness improves and we can get him to that 90-minute mark to complete a few games. I think that would be fantastic for all parties concerned. But the next player, Willie, we'll start with you since you called it. Kalmak, again, a lot of flack. He copped online. I've seen this a few times after European results, and even against Rangers last year as well. There was an image going around. I don't know if you saw it. It was McGregor in about 30 yards of space, centre circle type area, and he was running forward, but he ended up passing the ball backwards, and he had the whole pitch to kind of pick a pass or break a forward a line, so to speak. People are saying that maybe at European level he can't cut it, doesn't have the legs or the endurance or the know-how anymore. I've seen comments about maybe getting someone in to replace him or totally take him out of the starting 11. All that type of stuff. Now, I don't agree with that, to be fair. I think Cal McGregor's still a really important player. He is our captain, after all. But like you said, these results breed negativity. You have to dig a few players out and get on to them for their performance. But I'm just going what I think. There were people are saying that the fact that our centre halves have to always give it to McGregor to start to play instead of skipping him, maybe getting quicker in the midfield, it slows us down. The horseshoe of death type stuff. But where do you stand on the skipper argument?
I wasn't laughing at you there. I was laughing at that comment. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I don't.
That one.
That one. How no? Yeah. Again, I don't get it. Again, we're nitpicking. We're looking at stills. And like obviously that pass back was horrendous, but even Lionel Messi misplays his passes at times. Like it's almost like that VAR argument where you can't take a still and then like there's plenty of good things he's done. Well, not that game particularly, but I still think he's our main man. I still think he's the hub. He never, even after these situations, he doesn't hide. He still wants the ball. He's still our driving force. He's still our captain. I'm not jumping on that at all. I'm not having it at all. He's our captain. He's still arguably our best player, if not one of our best players. And he's a leader in that dressing room. There's going to be a time where we are going to hate to replace him, and the legs are obviously getting older and all the rest of it. But for me, it's not at the moment. I don't think his levels have changed. Like I say, the whole team's not started well, guns firing this season. I think it's a bit unfair to sort of single him out. I think the whole team's underperformed, and they two ties anyway. For me, he's still a fabulous footballer. He's still our quarterback. He's still our driving force. He's still getting goals. Like the amount of goals he scored last season was ridiculous. I think he's got one this year as well already. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand that one. What I would say is though, I know a lot of people say that he's undroppable and all that nonsense. I'm not for having that. Like, we're talking about our midfield is one place that I don't think we need to strengthen in this window. I think most would agree. The likes of Bernardo isn't getting a sniff. McCowan's not getting limited minutes. I think that we like what Rodgers is doing with KT. I think he could do that more with Calmac, with domestically anyway. But for me, I don't understand the criticism at all. I think it's because we've had a poor result. We're looking at, and maybe it's because he's held to a higher standard because he's been so good for the club in the last however many years that people are nitpicking at that. But yeah, I don't understand that criticism or singling him out because, again, like I said, the whole team were ranked rotten. So I wouldn't pick any individuals out because, the team weren't great at all. Apart from Scales. What about Scalesy this year? Everybody digs him out, but we've conceded one goal. And I tell you what, he's done well this season. Shift him out in the left. I ain't bother, Gaffer. I'll do that for you too. I'm not saying, for me, by the way, at the start of this season, when we still had Kuhn and all that at this point, for me, the biggest priority was to get a centre-half to go in alongside CCV. Because I always thought...
Not to jump in here, but to kind of go off what you're saying as well, CCV's been the one who started slow and made a few mistakes.
Yeah, agreed. Aye. But nobody will dig him out. See if that was Scales. Everybody would be in the comments tonight saying, this guy's the worst player you've ever had in their life. You know what I mean? Give credit where it's due. As much as there's lots of negativity around the club at the moment, there's a few positives. And Scalesy, you've got to give him his due. He started the season well. He's not, it's not the answer for me going forward, but you've got to give him props for his start to the season.
It's like the start he had, Ross, as well, when Rodgers first came in and took him by surprise. I think he called him the biggest surprise in his football career or his coaching career, and that was Liam Scales being a good player. But they kind of, and by the way, Willie, you know what Celtic is going to say to you about that whole Calmac speech, don't you? He's not going to shag you, mate. But you know, they come to you
I'd shag him.
in regards to the whole thing, and you know, maybe it goes back to the argument: do we need that tough number 6 in midfield, and maybe push Calmac up one to get more involved in attacking play and that type of stuff? And maybe sometimes he is anonymous in these European games. And Sam Fran come in there and said you can't depend on him. You know, there is different opinions. I mean, where do you stand on it?
Again, like Willie, I think that people are just looking for players to blame. They're looking for reasons as to why we were so poor. And for me, it harps back to the fact that we're missing a football team, an 11 is a bit. It's like a machine when it's all functioning and it's all there. It works great and it's all in tandem. But right now, as we all know, we're missing key components of that machine, i.e., winger, striker, and for me, it's like a domino effect where we've not started the season. We're picking up results against teams in Scotland because our individual moments are getting us through for the most part. But when we come up against a team that's well organised, like Kairat were the other night, then it's like a domino effect where we're missing these components and we start to recycle the ball. Then all Cal McGregor is doing is like passing it back or passing it sideways because there's nothing in front of him. He's not getting any movement for the striker. There's no offer for the wingers. So what's he supposed to do? For me, he's talked about Carter Vickers. He has been really poor at the start of the season. But I think I think it's a domino effect. And I think that most of the players, well, as we all know, none of them got pass marks the other night. But because we were so horrified by that team, it wasn't a good look. And people, as I say, are just looking for players to blame. Cal McGregor is that now. You hear last season he's playing too many games, his legs are starting to go. Still part of a double winning team. For me, I think Cal McGregor still got at least this season and another season, good season, in his legs for Celtic. He's obviously retired for international football, which was a view, obviously, to elongate playing at the top level for Celtic. And for me, he didn't have a good game the other night. Has he started the season brilliantly? No. But again, nobody in the Celtic team has started the season brilliantly. They've been okay. And as I said, there's been individual moments for guys like Nigrin, that have Hatate, that have got us through in the domestic front. And they need help. And hopefully it'll be coming in, and away games the team will get better and improve their fitness and all the rest of it. But for me, I think Cal McGregor, again, he's okay now. He's not setting the world alight, but Cal McGregor will be an integral player for Celtic this season. And Brendan Rodgers sees him every single day and he hangs his hat on him and he talks him up to the hilt, and that's good enough for me, regardless of what some people are saying on social media and stuff like that.
Ken, what I find fascinating, right? I knew you were going to say that because I've seen it myself. People digging out Calmac, KT were the two main culprits I've seen from midweek, right? The start of this season, we've for me, the keeper in the back line, arguably Cal McGregor, because he sits in that 6, have done their job this season. We've conceded 1 goal. I know Cal McGregor's meant to start the attacks and all the rest of it, right? We all know where we're lacking. And it's that front line, possibly like Hatate, Nigrin wrote the 10 or the 8 or whatever, although Nigrin's chipped in with goals for us this season. It's that end of the pitch. Yeah, I've not seen Maeda getting dug out. Maeda's been, but I think he's 5 or 6 out of 10 is the best he's performed this year. He's been absolute dog shite, like you'd say. Nobody's digging him out. I know the front line, he does getting dug out, but Maeda's not getting dug out. Maybe because the other two, we're not expecting too much of them because they're squad players. They're not getting dug out. Like I say, I'm going back to that. People are trying to pinpoint certain players to pin it on. For me, that side of the pitch is doing their job so far. It's this side of the pitch that's no. So I think it's quite interesting that so San Fran's right. Like I say, they players are getting held in higher esteem. So I suppose that's why people are going for them. But if the
because they come up through the ranks as well.
But if the front line do their job, which they should have done, that tie on Tuesday night, there's 3 massive chances we should put away. Nobody's going after Calmac or KT. They're doing their job. It's the front line that's not doing their job. So it surprises me that they sort of get dug out. And it's
just a quick one, by the way. Before, can you see the comments?
Yeah, I can see that.
I can't.
Oh, right. Okay. One of you is cool. I didn't know who it was, but Willie said he's seen them or so. But sorry, Willie, go ahead.
No, I was done.
Oh. No, right, let's talk about transfers now, right? So we'll kind of pack that game and we'll leave that because that's in the how would you even describe it in past tense? I don't know, but there you go. It's in the past, right? We'll move forward. We'll start with outgoings. Quite interestingly, quite interestingly, Alameda, Ross seems to be on his way to Swansea for £7 million. I think their manager is Paul Sheehan or something like that. He's an Irishman. He rates him highly, and they've really pushed the boat out to sign him. Hopefully that goes through, and we'll come on to the kind of complications later as to maybe why it won't happen after Brendan's press conference today. But Alameda's been quite a conundrum since he's rejoined us on loan. From his loan spell to permanently. Was paid £9 million for him. Some would say way over the odds. I would definitely say that. He came in. He still contributed last season, 20 goals. Still a very healthy contribution to the team. Brendan, at every opportunity he had, really spoke highly of him last season. But for me, I noticed a wee mood change with Brendan this season in terms of taking him off in half time, maybe saying he needs to do stuff a bit quicker, be a bit sharper, be more switched on, and obviously whatever conversations have led to him being potentially leave the club and go down to Swansea. But I don't want it to turn into fucking laughing that he was leaving and he was shite and all this crap. But because I know in the comments people will kind of latch on to that. I would personally as well because he was shite. But what about you, Ross? How are you feeling about this potential departure?
It's one of the ones. I don't really know how to feel. Like, I wouldn't be too upset if Adamida left, but I can't even contemplate it until I know, like Roger said, until I know that we've got at least one, hopefully 2 strikers in. I'd be quite happy if we got 1 or 2 in that area. I'd be quite happy for Adamida to leave. And I'm not going to go in both barrels on Adamida. I said at the time when he first came in his loan spell that I didn't think he'd done enough in game, and his huge goals that he scored that basically won us a cup and a league title. He got us over the line. I can't go in too hard on him because he gave us that. But I did say at that time that I still didn't think he'd done enough in games, and then we went into last season and he was coming off the bench and he was getting starts here and there and he was doing okay. But I was trying to say, listen, he might be better if he gets a full pre-season under his belt. I was giving him that sort of credence, if you like, or that grace. But this season, my patience has run out with Adamida. He's not a good footballer, in my opinion. He isn't. He's just not. And I think the very fact that we're talking about Adamida, that's me being as nice as I possibly can.
The reason I'm laughing is what you said last night, Jobbies. It just made me laugh.
But the very fact that we're even discussing the fact that Adamida is going, I think Rodgers has been a similar, I'm not saying a similar train of thought as me, but I think that he's obviously had Adamida last season and he's tried to improve him as a player. He's worked with him for a full year, and it's now got to this point where he's probably starting more games. We're trying to rely on Adam Idah and lean on him and hope that he can be the main man. But I think Rodgers has got to a point where he's like, this guy's not going to learn anymore. He's not going to get any better. He's not good enough for Celtic, not where we want to be, where we want to go, and what we want to achieve this season. I don't think that Adam Idah can be the guy to take us to that, and I think Rodgers has got to that point as well, where he's like, we just need to cut our losses. I wouldn't even blame. Listen, they'll say you say Rodgers wanted him, but we did waste a bit of time on Adam Idah last summer, and his price tag ended up going up. How we doing, Phil? His price tag ended up going up. It's no fault of Adam Idah. I don't even know if Rodgers fully wanted Adam Idah. I just feel like it got to a point where he was like, we need another striker. And he wants to come to Celtic. He knows he's scored goals for us. Let's just do the deal. Because again, we took so long to do things. I don't know. That's just an assumption. It could be the case. But right now, as I've said, I would be quite happy for Adam Idah to go, providing we got 2 in. And it's looking awful like Dahlberg will be one of them at £8 million. I think he would be a good signing. Certainly an upgrade, I would hope, on Adam Idah. He's a Danish international. And if we were to get a second striker in, I think the obvious and quick choice as a backup to that would be Jamie Vardy. I think it would make perfect sense. And I think he would score a shed goals for Celtic.
Ross, you drinking?
No, but even if it's for a season,
you're drinking.
You bring in Dahlberg as your main striker, and you've got Jamie Vardy, by the way, who scored double figures for a horrendous Leicester City team in the Premier League last season. He will score goals for Celtic. I'm not saying come in and be our main striker, but if we sell Adam Idah at this stage of the window, the Jamie Vardy deal is a deal that we could get done fairly quick because he doesn't have a club.
He's away.
Is he? Well, that's that out of the window, but
go on.
If it falls through and he isn't going,
Reg Vardy.
I think that would be a deal that I would be on board with, providing we got Dahlberg. Ideally, I wouldn't want Vardy to be coming in as the one who would be our main man.
Yeah, no, I mean, Jamie Vardy it creeps me out. I don't want him anywhere near the club. Do you know what I mean? Just don't. Everything he brings with him, his missus is wild, always in court and that as well. So I think he's past it. He's past it. He's 38 years old, and just leave him down in League One or something.
Jamie Vardy's 38.
No, I understand what Ross is saying. Like, if you're talking about backup, maybe it could work out if he never ever plays for the club. You know, one of them ones, you just have him there teaching the young club, young Cubs, young players. But Willie, I mean, we spoke tongue in cheek, obviously. You know, the Idah situation. Obviously, as well, I want to get your opinion. There's rumours that we're linked with Kieran Bowie at Hibs. I mean, would you like that alternative with maybe a Dahlberg and a Bowie coming in? And I'll throw at you as well the Idah situation, because I know you do like Adam Idah. You've said before, you maybe not a massive fan, but you do understand what he brings to the club.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was delighted when we got Idah. I think that it's unfair that most people have used the price tag to sort of bat him down with. It's not his fault we paid that money for him. I don't think he's dealt with the weight of expectations quite as well as we'd hoped. Like Ross said, in his loan spell, for me, without him coming in, I don't know if we would have won that League and Cup double. I think the games, I'm trying to think now, Motherwell, when he came on and won us the game, I think he did the same at Kilmarnock. Hibs. And he also won us the cup, obviously, with that finish.
You go at Ibrox.
Yeah, I go at Ibrox.
Was that the day I said the league was done?
Oh, fuck, you say the league's done and Rangers have won it before we start every season. And for me, last season, like, you can't, like, if you look at the stats, again, he wasn't our first choice striker. See, for me, he was never ever going to be our first choice striker. But he got 20 goals in limited minutes last season. I'm like, that's a brilliant return. I was hoping for that again this season. I would never seen him as our number one striker. I was hoping we'd get somebody else in, and he could continue to do that. I still was hoping for that this season. I was hoping for us to get another striker in. But the way he started the season, I think if somebody's offering 7 million, if that's true, I think you've got to bite their hand off for it, to be honest with you. But I agree with the gaffer. I agree with Ross. We need to get bodies in if we are going to let him go. I don't think that he is consistent enough. He showed it in spells. Like I said, that loan spell, he can obviously get goals. He showed that last season. He got as many goals as a lot of the players with half the minutes they played. And the likes of Aston Villa last year in the Champions League, he showed he could lead the line for us, but he never did it often enough. He's far too inconsistent. And I think sometimes that the way he sort of swaggers about the pitch and stuff like that, people think he's not interested. I just think that's the way he is. Maeda does the exact same thing. Maeda doesn't smile when he scores and all the rest of it. Nobody picks him up. And again, I think people nitpick at certain things. I think the best thing for all parties, I think the best thing for Adam Ida is probably to move on as well for the best for his career. I think I'm sad at how it's all ended up, because I do think there's a very decent player there. I think he showed it enough. Just not enough. That didn't make sense, but he showed it, just not enough. Just not consistent enough. He's definitely not the one to lead the line. I would have been more than happy to see him stay and be, that striker that comes in domestically on occasion, the last 20 minutes of the game to get us a goal, whatnot. I think that that would have been his place in the squad, but I'm no. What's he saying?
What a shame.
Well, my dad Peter said that he's nothing to do with the signings, so he speak to somebody else. What was the next question? Kieran Bowie, you talked about. Yeah, I really like the look of Kieran Bowie. Like I go to all the Scotland games as well, and I'm really hope that he leads the line for Scotland. I've watched all the Hibs. Well, I've watched all the league highlights, but I've watched every Hibs European game at the start of this season as well, and he's looked excellent. I really like him as a player. Again, I don't know if he would be the one that could come in. Celtic's a different animal to Hibs. Come in and be the number one striker. I know what you're saying about if we do get Dolberg coming in, he could be the second striker. But I'm not so sure at this time in his career if that's what he'd be looking to do. And Hibs have only just got him last season. I know he was injured a lot last season. I think they'd want to keep holding him, and I think we'd take to pay a bit of money to bring him in. I'm not so sure at his point in his career if that's going to be the right move for him. I think he'd be better off at Hibs. I think we should keep a close eye on him, though. I think a year or two, he could be a fucking animal for what I've seen, because he's an absolute handful. He ragdolls defenders. He's got a bit about him, and he's obviously got an eye for goal. I mean, his goal in that tie where he's hit he's hit the volley for 40 yards in that tie was unbelievable. So he knows where the goal is. So that's definitely something I would be susceptible to if that was an option. I think it would be silly not to go for him. But Dolberg's the main one. Hopefully we can get that deal over the line. He's obviously got pedigree, a lot of international appearances. He's played for. I think John Tomlinson actually in the group chat earlier put the clubs that he's played for, like Ajax and Sevilla, and like the resume looks very good, and he's fucking brilliant at Football Manager, so they know everything. So he must be. I think he's got 5 goals in 8 games or something like that this season as well so far. Yeah. So that's exciting. It's finally something in the window on the rumour mill. But Sky Sports are reporting it, so it's no like Bradley the plumber for Castle Milk on X telling me that's Sky Sports News telling us. So there must be some truth in it. This is what we've been wanting all window, to be linked with these sort of names. And I don't know how to pronounce it. Balikwisha?
Balikwisha, I'm going with.
Again, exactly what we're needing. I've had a look. A winger that likes to run at defenders. So again, the juices are starting to flow now. Hopefully, Brendan Rodgers himself said today we should be looking busy over the next few days. So hopefully we can all get excited and we get a handful of players in. It's going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to the season ahead. Like you say, Hakuna Matata. What's in the past is in the past. Europa League now, boys.
Quite interestingly as well, Kieran Bhoys meant to be a Celtic supporter by all accounts. On Twitter they tell you that, Willie. But it's as well as in regards to that, quite interestingly, I've seen Hibs were linked with Lyndon Dykes. So I don't know if there might be a link there with Kieran Bhoys maybe laying the blocks to move. Go ahead, Willie.
That would be the worst. That would be the worst transfer ever for Hibs. Get rid of Bowie and bringing in Dykes. Dykes does not score goals. They've already bought Grant Hanley, for God's sake. I don't know what they're playing at. David Gray is a magician if they're still getting the results. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. I've not seen any strong rumours to show that it will happen. I'd be delighted if we got him in. I think he really, really looks a good talent. But also for on the other side for Scotland and stuff, I don't think he would be our starting striker. So I don't know if it would be the right career move for him. But for Celtic, absolutely, I would take him in a heartbeat. To be honest, for what I've seen.
Yeah, definitely. I love that there's another member of my SPFL watch team. I think that's incredible. They've got Willie on board now. It used to just be me. Sometimes Franny would chip in, but it was always me.
You say that, right? SPFL watches you watching every game and saying, we need to sign that St Johnstone keeper. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, by the way, we should sign Bowie. I think we can do better than Bowie in the transfer market. If it was up to you, we would have had Porteous and Duke for Aberdeen and all the rest of it. What are they doing now?
Theo Burr, legend.
Theo Burr, that's right. Fucking hell.
Legend. You never know. These players may turn into something. Maybe not now, maybe in a couple of years' time. But yeah, no, I just like watching and seeing what's in the league, to be fair. But
Ross, sorry, mate. See, just in the striker thing. Again, like, I'm Brendan Rodgers' biggest fan, and I don't want to dig him out, but I find it really strange what he's doing this year. It's like one game, Kenny comes in, gets his goal, and then he's not seen the next week. It's Shin that comes in. I'm struggling to understand what he's trying to do. I know he's wanting to give as many players as many minutes to show what they can do. But like, if I'm Kenny, for example, I'm only getting 20 minutes in a game. I'm showing that I can, I put myself about and I get a goal. And then the next week, it's 20 minutes to go a game and the manager's coming over, or Kennedy, whoever it is, to call who's coming on, and it's Shin. I'm going, what more do I need to do? I find it really strange what's going on with the striker situation at the moment.
I think he's probably playing them all at different times just to show the board, look at what I'm working with here. He's
sending messages. He's sending messages.
Good enough. He's just not good enough. Look at them all. They're all pash.
Is that why? Again, as well, I'm obviously, like I say, massive fan, but I find it hard to defend him when, if I'm looking at it, here we go. I don't want to say this because all the Wally Lawwell comments coming out again.
Come on, Willie.
If I'm looking at it for that perspective, right? I've given Brendan Rodgers a kitty, and he's bought 11 million Engels, and he's bought 9 million Ida and that, and he's not starting any of them. I don't know if that's whether Rodgers is just playing the best team available to him, which I don't believe he, in my opinion anyway. But he's seen him in training every other day, so he obviously knows better than me. My opinion, he's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much of this. I don't like reading all these forums and rumours and all the rest of it. And now I'm back. There's money. Did I do that up?
Boo. That's a cracker.
Not a chance in hell, Monty. I've not missed you anyway. I tell you that for fucking a hint. I don't know. If it's signals or he's trying to convey a message or anything like that. I don't believe so. He can't do that. We went to get.
We can't do that on YouTube,
I know.
man.
I'm only it.
Did you see Al Collar who called in about that he had contacts up in the Lennoxtown, and apparently Rogers told the team not to score against that Kairat Almighty team at home?
See, this is the nonsense I'm talking about. You're having a fucking laugh. Shut up, you fucking fanny.
Aye.
Get him on here. Whoever it was, find him, get him on this podcast so I can.
It's Monty.
It's fucking see.
Big Monty's fan about Clyde's super scoreboard going that Rogers told the team not to score, and he's come on here giving you grief.
Not just taking his tie and his belt off and telling them not to score a goal. He's away. Fucking shut up, man. Just go on, live your life.
We'll move on to something more positive for us before Willie has an absolute meltdown and goes 2-footed in on everybody. Positive news, Willie mentioned it. We've completed the signing after chasing Balakisha for 45 years. He is signed on a 4-year deal, I believe, from Royal Antwerp, believed to be a fee in the region of...
So he's older than Vardy and you still want him?
believed to be a fee in the region of £5 million. I think his record stands at just over 100 games, 30 odd goals, I think 26 assists. Looks to Roger said he plays across the front three in terms of the position wise, but it's just good to get someone in forward areas, and it's good to see Roger say that he could play on Sunday. The question to you is, are you chucking him straight in for Sunday's game?
Off the back of Tuesday night, 100%. Aye. Maeda on the left. I don't know if we're going to get a striker in or if it will be Adamida, but if I think Balakwisha can play both sides, so you would probably have to say Maeda on the left unless he goes with Maeda through the middle. You could play Balakwisha and then probably Forrest. I would probably plump for Forrest over Yang. There's rumours that Yang will be going as well, but for me, I think you start him. I think he's your £5 million new signing. You've been asking for reinforcements in that area of the pitch because essentially the players that you're playing aren't your first choice players. You're going into Ibrox. Rogers has said the guy is ready to go, he's match fit. So 100% he has to start the game now.
I think so as well, especially to give what you said earlier actually as well, Ross, to be fair in the chat, that kind of fresh, impetus to the attack. Maybe people can feed off that, Willie. Maybe rejuvenate Diaz and Maeda to some extent, and whoever else is playing in the team just having that kind of fresh spark. And I think, like you mentioned, Cal McGregor coming out 70 new players. Roger saying the same thing. We've got, somewhat a decent profile of player, like Roger said today. Played in the Belgian league for Royal Antwerp, and I think he played in Norway as well, I believe. He's got a good pedigree by all accounts, and it's something to be excited about. We have chased him for ages, to be fair. Maybe laboured it out like the Celtic board always do, but at the end of this window, we've got him in 4-year contract. I mean, how you feel about that signing?
I think it's a positive one, like you say. We're needing to hang up the front line, and he definitely does that. Like I said earlier, he looks like he's one that wants to attack the fullback every time he gets the ball. Hopefully that's the case when he plays for us, and it doesn't recycle it every time he gets the ball. Yeah, I think he's an exciting prospect. He's clearly got ability. We spent a wee bit of money on him. I'm really pleased with it. I think on Sunday, well, it depends what we do between now and Sunday. If we get another striker in or another winger in, we don't know what we're going to do between now and Sunday. But as the squad stands, I think he's got to start on Sunday. I don't think anybody would question that. I think I think it's because of the magnitude of the game. People think or question it. But if we were playing Dundee on Sunday, he would start. So what's the difference? For me, he starts as a squad stands. I think if we get Dolberg in, there might be question marks or another striker, a top striker in. Maeda maybe go to the left. He might plump for Forrest. I don't know. It depends who comes in. I think, but as a squad stands, I think he probably goes Maeda up top and Balikwisha out on the left.
I think,
No, you go.
I think any new signings coming in after this evening probably won't be registered in time for the game on Sunday anyway. Obviously, all that paperwork piece. So you're probably assuming this is the squad we're going to go in with at the minute, like you said with Balikwisha, Maeda, Forrest, Yang. So it's definitely a choice between them, so to speak.
Really? I thought Sinclair signed the fucking morning he played or something like that, and then
maybe I've got that wrong.
I don't know. No, I don't know, mate. You might be right. But I'm hoping we've got more reinforcements before then. When does window shut? Monday night.
Monday.
Yeah.
I think Monday night might be interesting.
Well, I mean, going by the comments here, the Dolberg deal seems to be, done by all accounts, Sam Fran.
Has he got the scarf for the heat?
Well, whatever. I think who said it here? I'm going to lose this comment. Paul McCune said Danish media saying he's already packing his bags. I don't think they used that term. And then San Fran has said that the deal's done as well. So there must be a couple of reports somewhere at least to say that this is gathering momentum. But if we get Kasper Dolberg in, I'll be pleasantly surprised. But I do think we need other reinforcements as well. The other situation, Ross, is the left back, Marcelo Sarazzi from Boca Juniors. A lot of experience in European football. I think he played against us twice in one of the European campaigns when we played RB Leipzig, and he's also featured. He's also featured for Levante. He played for River Plate as well. Why is everyone laughing at me? Am I doing something wrong?
Ross does the Kevin Bridges thing all the time, and he doesn't. It doesn't. He's no meaning to come across that way, but he's like, "Did he? Aye."
Well, he did. All right, but he's played for Levante. He even played for River Plate, Boca Juniors' fierce rivals. So he's experienced of both sides of the divide in Argentina. I don't think he comes in to start, but it is good that we have a fit and able deputy to Kieran Tierney in that left back position.
Absolutely is, and by all accounts, can he play both sides?
Right back apparently too. Yeah.
So listen, I still think that probably, well, I don't know how good the guy's going to be, but I think that I would ideally like to see maybe somebody coming in on a sort of 6-month loan basis, maybe just to cover Alistair Johnston, because he's going to be out until what? Maybe December?
12 weeks, whatever that takes you up to.
So that'll be the end of August now. Aye, it'll be early December, you would say. I don't want to run with Ralston for that length of time going into European football. I think he's all right, but I'm not a massive fan of him. I think actually is it Donovan? He came on the other night and I actually thought he did quite well. He's quite a tall laddie. He looks a bit more athletic than Ralston. Maybe not as durable as Ralston. Obviously, I don't think many are as durable as Ralston. He's fucking made of lead. But I would like to maybe see, but then as I've said, I don't know how good this guy would be on the other side. So it might not happen if he's able to do both sides really well. I agree that he is. He's a handy young player. I think if he sticks around, he possibly could make the grade with Celtic. But time will tell on that. But I didn't actually realise that Sirachi had played for Leipzig against us.
Yeah.
So he's obviously been at a very decent pedigree of clubs. He's not coming in as a first choice, clearly. But if Kieran Tierney is going to be for long, well, he's a worry, Kieran Tierney. We all know that, and he is. That he needs managed, and if we get a really good deputy that can come in and it doesn't really affect the way the team play, and he can come in and play it, maybe what amount of minutes that we thought maybe Greg Taylor would play if he'd stuck around. Like, I'm not saying half the games Tierney, half the games this Sriracha, but certainly maybe 60-40. If he's good enough, then it's a sensible signing. And is it a loan?
Loan with no option to buy.
No option to buy.
No, straight loan.
Well,
ideal. We'll get him for 12 million next year then.
We'll do an Alameda.
James would be on the news saying, "Oh, it's kicking the can down the road."
see as well, you know, the funny thing is, you mentioned Greg Taylor. Apparently, he's been on the bench for all of Pug's games so far this season.
Has he?
He hasn't featured. Well, I think 90 minutes in total he's played at the club. But you know, maybe he wish he stayed. I don't know. But 15 assists inverted, you know, just chipping balls at him like for fun. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, that's turn our attention, obviously. I have no idea what
inverted.
Let's turn our attention ahead to the Glasgow Derby game, Willie. You know, we'll have a wee chat. Just a wee small matter of a trip to Ibrox that we've kind of not even spoke about once, really. But as I said, probably the kind of the feeling after that European game. But we'll talk about it anyway. We'll talk about Rangers Sevco first of all. I mean, what do you think of their situation at the minute? I found it quite funny this morning that Jose Mourinho leaves or gets sacked from Fenerbahce, and next minute the Daily Record are writing articles about Mourinho being favourite to take the job, and there was a person who played a part in the 49ers takeover telling the 49ers to sack Martin and then get Jose Mourinho in. So, you know, all this is going to be rumour mill as well. But
is Mourinho actually left?
Fenerbahce the day.
So their start of the season, 3 games, 3 draws, one each, I believe. European game against Club Brugge, they got absolutely horsed, but it could have been about 9-0, 10-0, whatever. The score could have been anything they wanted to. But how you feeling getting into it? I mean, talk about their form as well, obviously, and the basket case, the banter years keep rolling, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going in supremely confident because they're a mess at the moment. From what I'm seeing defensively, even Yang will get goals if he plays. Yeah, they're in a bad way, which is obviously enjoyable for their side of the city. I'm very confident going into it. I'll be even more confident if we get the likes of Dolberg and 1 or 2 more over the line. I know you said today about how you're not even, because of the result Tuesday, you're not even feeling like you're rowdy or getting up for the game on Sunday. But I think if we get 2 or 3 names in the door over the weekend, I think we'll all be doubly excited to see what the new signings can do. Also, no, I'm looking forward to the game. I actually don't even know what the fuck we're doing for it now because I've moved house and I've not got a base for everybody to come to. But so I've no idea what we're doing. But well, I'm looking forward to it. I think we should go in as heavy favourites, even though we've not hit the ground running this season either. They are an absolute mess at the moment. Some of the goals they're conceding as well, I just think Maeda's just getting in behind a lot.
Well, if he can finish, that's the issue.
He'll get in behind, he'll balloon it in the rosette, but he'll get in behind a lot. The 2 centre halves, that new boy they got for Wolves, he's all over the place. That first goal they conceded in the Champions League where the keeper and him both left it and the guy came in and nicked in and chipped them. They're all at sea at the moment. They're in a bad way and we need to absolutely jump on that. If we can come away, what are we at the moment? Six clear?
Seven.
If we can go 6.
Is it 6? Oh, sorry.
I thought I was fucking led for Strictly there. 7. 6. If we can go 9 clear after 5 games domestic, 4 games. Is this a 4th game this season in the league?
4th game. Yeah.
Game, right?
If you told me at the start of the season we could be 9 points clear after 4 games, I'd have laughed at you. That's mental. And I know that there's talk of, like, I watched the warm up podcast with Sutton and Chris Boyd and that. And Boyd was saying, it's far too early to say the league's over and all the rest of it. I don't know. 9 points is a lot of points, and as much
we only
as
dropped 15 last year.
Exactly, and as much as we've no hit the ground running this year, we've found a way to win domestically, at least in every game without playing our best. That's a big lead. I can't believe we're not even at August and Russell Martin's coat's on a sugary peg. It's madness, but we could start hammering that nail in that coffin if we get a big result on Sunday, which I believe we can. But we need to do far better in the final third. That we need to be far more clinical, and we need to up the tempo. I don't think we've got out of second gear at all this season yet. And if you can't get out of second gear for this game, then when can you? So, looking forward to it. Very confident.
I think as well, though, Willie, it's important we actually turn up in this fixture. I think maybe the last 4 or 5 we've been not the best team, to be fair. We've seen it firsthand, and obviously they've changed managers, so styles do change for us. But it is important for me on Sunday that we put our best foot forward. We show what we're capable of, and the final third does need tuned up. But hopefully, Babakisha coming in adds a wee bit of that dimension. As Willie said, I mean, Max Aarons, to me, got himself deliberately sent off over in Belgium. He just didn't fancy it. The fella was like 90 yards away from his goal, and he put his man back and just fucks off down the tunnel. Nico Raskin hates Russell Martin, so he won't be playing. James Tavernier's left on the bench. Raskin's apparently leaving, but I don't know. But Tavernier hates him. John Suter looks like he's carrying a baby. There's a lot of issues in that club. Do you know what I mean? And maybe we're not as bad as we all kind of self that.
He's carrying a baby.
He is. He's huge. He's huge, man.
Tell you what,
massive.
Casper Schmeichel's a bit like that. He needs to tuck that shirt in and kind of pull it out a wee bit. He keeps.
He needs to retire. If I'm being honest, Casper Schmeichel needs to retire. But anyway, Ross, Glasgow Derby. How are you feeling going into
it? Okay, I'm probably not as confident as Willie. I think it's more just off the back of the 2 performances in Europe. We've not been, as we've said, we've not been amazing in the league, but we've done enough to get through the games. Obviously, we got a late goal in the opening game. St Mirren are a well-organised team, a really good manager. But I mean, the Rangers are in disarray at the moment, but it's a Celtic Rangers game. It all goes out the window on the day. It's both teams will be wanting to win the. Right, it's good. Both teams will be wanting. Both teams will be wanting to turn in a good performance and give a good account of themselves. Rangers are at home, but Celtic have to really jump on the fact that it will not take for long for this crowd to turn. If they don't get an early goal, Celtic stifle them or even get an early goal themselves, then it could turn really sour for Rangers and Russell Martin. But my issue is we're going into this game and we don't actually know right now. And I know you said, obviously, if any other player comes in now, it probably won't be, probably won't be registered. I'm not sure how accurate that is. I'm not saying you're wrong, but it's weird to be sitting here thinking that on paper your main striker is possibly having a medical somewhere now, and we don't yet know if Dahlberg is coming in to replace him. I hope that all goes through, like say the Mora, and we start the game with Dahlberg, Maeda and Balikwisha. That would be an ideal scenario. The likelihood is Dahlberg won't be in, and probably Adam Edel maybe be in the squad, but then it's, do you start him? How's his head going to be? It's a really difficult one. There's a lot of balls in the air, let's say, and it's bringing a bit more uncertainty than I would like. I look at the game itself without all the external stuff, and I think Rangers last season they found a way to play against us, and it worked. Russell Martin has obviously come in and ripped that up, and he's got a style of play that he wants to implement, and it's taken a wee while to obviously do that. It's similar to Ange Postecoglou came in and wanted to implement a similar sort of style, and it took him a wee while, but I think that if it was the Celtic team in the early part of last season that was going into this game, and Rangers tried to play football against us, I think we would pick them off and absolutely pulverise them. This Celtic team, I think that Rangers coming out and trying to play football against us still plays into our hands, but obviously because of the options we have in the forward line at the moment, I don't feel as confident that we'll pick them off and pulverise them, but I do still feel confident that we can get goals at Ibrox, but I'm that way. Celtic have not faced a team this season yet who have attacked us.
Yeah.
And I feel like when a team does do that and we don't have as much time to build out for the back, I think sometimes we struggle. I think CCV's out of form. I think Liam Scales is just no. I know Wally obviously talked him up earlier on the podcast. I just don't like the guy as a footballer. No, as a footballer, I mean, but I just don't like him as a footballer. He frightens the life out of me. I just don't think he's okay, but I would be happier if Trusty was in the team. He's obviously injured, and Scales has got the jersey at the minute for whatever reason. I just think that there'll probably be goals in this game. I just hope that Celtic can outscore Rangers, but I think it'll be a victory by the odd goal, maybe 2-1, 3-2, something like that. But I don't think we'll keep the door shut at the other end. I think we'll have to outscore them.
It's funny you say that because, like, as much as I'm fairly confident that we're going to win the game, I think it could be an absolute snooze fest because the way we started the season is this. I know it's this sort of possession based, but the tempo's not there at all, and we're not like it's this sort of laboured passing side to side, maybe taking too many touches on the ball. For what I've seen of them this season, it's very similar. A lot of possession. I think most of their games they've probably had about 70% possession, but they can't put teams away. So it could be an absolute snooze fest. It could be a 1-0. It's just all depending on what the two front lines do. I would suggest, and you'd argue that their front three is far better than our front three at the moment, which is a scary thought. But I still think we've got more than enough in the tank to get the result. To be honest with you, because I think what we've shown, at least at the back this season, we've been very good, and they've been the polar opposite. They're conceding goals for fun, making mistakes, but you're right. It's all down to our press. If we press them, we're going to get chances to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
But if we sort of play this laboured possession-based football, then I don't know. It could be tight.
The thing is, Willie, I don't think that.
That's brilliant.
What was I going to say? I don't think that Rangers are going to be where they're going to allow Celtic to have the ball. They'll press us as much as we press them. I think that we're more accustomed to playing out for the back than what Rangers are at the minute, and I think we've got players to do that. I don't think Rangers have. So I'm holding on to that because I think that we'll be better if we do like a Falkirk performance, let's say, because Falkirk want to play that style of football out for the back, and our press was bang on that night, and we swarmed all over them, and that's how we got the majority of our goals, was winning the ball high up the park and punishing them. I think we can do that to Rangers because they're like Falkirk. They're wanting to play a style of play, and it works. Well, for Falkirk, it works against teams probably that are of more their level, if you like. But when they come up against Celtic, they're found wanting. You should probably try and change for that tactic. I think that Rangers might be found wanting because that'll play into Celtic's hands a really high press, and they'll swarm over them. Can Rangers do that to Celtic at the other end? It's difficult to say, but I still do think that there'll be goals in the game. But I understand where you're coming from, that it could be a clash of styles, and it could end up just nullifying each other and just be a snooze fest as well.
if I just look at it, if I look at the two defences, we've obviously been very strong in that area this year, and they've not. They've been the polar opposite. They're shipping goals for fun. We've seen it like midweek. Was the ship 6 midweek?
6, yeah.
And I think in these games, 9 times out of 10, it's the midfield battle that wins it, and I think we're far superior in that part of the pitch as well. But right now, as a first 11, I'd say their front three is probably stronger than us. So I don't know if that would balance it out. But just with that defensive midfield, I think we should be going into the game as favourites. And I feel like if we turn up going forward, it could be a massacre. But I could also see it because of the way we have been going forward in our front three. It could be, like Ross says, a clash of styles, because they're both Martin's style and Rodgers' style is both possession based. Sort of this saving energy on the ball, making sure we've got possession. If we've got possession, then they can't score. So it could turn into a snooze fest. I'm hoping that's not the case. But I think in most areas of the park, we are far superior. And especially, like I said, 9 times out of 10, it's one in midfield. And their midfield is all at sea at the moment. I think the best midfielder on form at the moment is the Cameron for Dundee. And I don't even think he gets in the starting 11 at the moment. So I think we absolutely batter them in terms of their positions in the park. It's just whether their front three turn up or our front three turn up could be, the turning point in the game.
I think it tells you a lot that Rangers have had 3 draws in the league. They're just off the back of a 6-0 defeat against, by the way, a really good side in Club Brugge. But it tells you a lot that Rangers are 6 points behind us, could be 9 points after 4 games. They've had a really poor start. The fans want their manager out, and yet this Celtic team's going to Ibrox, and I'm not confident that we'll beat them.
It's probably
I'm not supremely confident.
It's probably because we've been in recent years. I would suggest that we've been far superior to them as a team, but we've not got the results against them recently.
Yeah.
So, and again, it's the cliche, but it's like the form goes out the window during these games and all the rest of it. But they've obviously, but again, when they have bettered us last season, and I think Clermont was fairly 50-50. I don't think they got the better of us then. Maybe more in our favour. But last season, when they sort of got results against us, it was Ferguson in charge, and it's a completely different way of playing, style of playing as well. I just for what I've seen of them this year, they are I'd be more worried about playing Motherwell this year. So far, for what I've seen, they're so bad at the back, and their midfield is all over the place as well. But they're dangerous going forward.
I think as well that it's kind of reminiscent to me. Remember Mark Warburton, that style, like kind of passing, one-touch football up into midfield and try and break lines and all that. And, he was naive to do it back then, obviously in 2016 when Rodgers had an absolute machine of a team and we just steamrolled them. But going into this fixture, we are playing quite similar in terms of styles. I was speaking to a few people in work, and I think it's going to be a goal to straw because we're going to cancel each other out. But I hope it's not that, because I want an exciting game. But what I was going to ask is both, quite interestingly, Ross, I'll start with yourself. If either side lose, let's say, because if either side lose, right? So if Celtic lose or Rangers lose, right? Forget about the draw in this instance. Does it put pressure on the manager in charge?
Well, it puts pressure on. Well, Russell Martin's already under severe pressure. Like
could be the end for him, really.
Well, no, I wouldn't say it would. It puts pressure on Russell Martin from a fan base point of view. I think that their board are going to stick by their man. They've chose him, and they're going to stick with him at least for this season to see if he can get it right. I think he needs that. I think because I honestly think that he is the right man for the Rangers job. I think given time, he'll get them winning games. I don't know if he'll get them to a point where they'll be winning the league over Celtic, but I certainly think that he can make them a team that will get closer to Celtic and challenge more than what they have in the last last year anyway. They were obviously close up the year before, but I think that was more because Celtic had dropped rather than Rangers had got better. In terms of if Celtic lost, no, I don't think Rodgers would be under pressure. I think he's got a lot of credit.
The reason. Sorry to cut you. I didn't mean to cut you off, but the reason why I'm saying that is just purely off the reaction of the European game. Is tactics being called into question? What if the same happens against them and nothing changes in that front? Do you know what I mean by that instance?
I do. Again, probably it's a similar answer to the Russell Martin one, in that he would maybe come under pressure for a section of the fan base, but I don't think he wouldn't. No, for me, and I don't think he would have to worry about his position in terms of where the board are coming from. I don't think losing a game at Ibrox is one game is going to put Brendan Rodgers under pressure of losing his job when he's got so much credit in the bank off the certainly last season, getting the double, almost the treble, what he's done previously. I would struggle to see what the sense would make in getting rid of Rodgers at this point of the season. When you're hopefully, by all accounts, going to give him some players in the next couple of days. I don't think you can. I don't think for a second Rodgers would come under any pressure for the board on his job.
Yeah. And by the way, neither do I. I just wanted to put out there, obviously, after the reaction from the European game. But, as we were saying, Willie Ross was saying that Russell Martin's under serious pressure. One of the most telling things from that Club Brugge defeat was before the even final whistle was blown over Belgium, their manager hugged him for about a minute and was talking in his ear. It was actually quite, if I'm a Rangers fan looking at him, like, what the fuck's going on? Like, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be hugging him. But I think maybe this Rangers board are going to act differently from the previous regimes, not kind of act on emotion and reaction and stuff like that. But his position in Tanya would come under serious threat if we go there and either win or win comfortably.
Martin, you talking about? Sorry,
aye.
Sorry, my dog was barking. I couldn't. Aye. Yeah, I don't really care, to be honest with you. Honestly, I don't. I think it's madness that you could, if you're going to bring in somebody and then sack them before the month's out. I think I could give you several occasions where people have stuck by their managers and it's worked out and they're flying. I could also give you several where they've stuck with the manager and it's went Pete Tong. But that's just football nowadays. I can understand why he's coming under scrutiny. I do think that calling for him to get sacked is complete and utter madness. You can't keep doing this. You cannot keep going through this cycle. He's just got rid of half a squad and brought in half a squad to suit his style or whatever, and then you're going to bring somebody else in to do the exact same again, and then rip that up and do the exact same again. The problem is with that club is they need to realise where they are in the world of football. Like the last 20 years shows that they still think that they should be competing with us for league titles, and clearly they're not. It's they're like however many years they are rebuild away for even close to competing with us. I think that the sort of, maybe I'm wrong, but I think the where they think they should be, they're not. They've came up through the leagues again from what, the third division, and then they come back in and still think they should be competing Champions League and winning every trophy domestically. It's not the way. That's just not how it works. Yeah, I think it's madness to be talking about it, but I understand as well, because football's fucking mental, and the way the things are now, it's like, see, if that was us in that position, I would be. I know our fans would be the same, right on it, saying a large majority of our fans would be right on him, saying we should be sacking whatever. If we were in that same position, I wouldn't. I actually think that he comes across all right. I don't like that, because I prefer to hate their manager, clearly. And I can see that, like, I see a lot of things where people say they're not seeing, their fans are saying they're not seeing the style of football that he wants to play, but I don't understand that, because for what I've seen, I can see what he's trying to do. They're just all mince. And I mean, like, when Ange first came in, it was similar. I think he lost like three first 6 games or something with us. But you could see the style of play he was implementing it, and we were like, right, we can get behind this. But I couldn't care less, to be honest with you. I hope it keeps going on the way it's gone, because it makes it easier for us.
Yeah, no, 100%. I just chucked it in there just to kind of gauge the opinion.
No, absolutely,
of the Rodgers situation too. Do you have any opinion on that one? People think pressure will come on him if we lost.
Fucking nonsense, man. 16. If he loses, he's still 3 points clear in the league. We're not going to lose, but if he does, we're 3 points clear in the league. I think it's clear to see where we've struggled. I say we've struggled this year, and I know we need to go through that European tie. That's like absolute ridiculous. We've not went through that tie, but domestically, like I say, we've conceded 1 goal, and we've not dropped any points yet. We're not playing anywhere near the level we should be. We've not even got out of second gear yet, and we're still flying domestically, points wise, stats wise. That's absolute madness. If we lose on Sunday, that he comes under pressure. No, that's nonsense.
I can see it all over your face, man, 100%. Look, we're obviously coming to the end of the podcast, and I'm not going to do a lineup prediction because things could change between now and Sunday. I'll do a score prediction from each of you, and I'll start with you, Ross. What are you going for?
I'm going to go 3-2 Celtic.
3-2, decent. And Willie, what about yourself?
I'm going 2-0. I think we've looked very strong defensively, and I think there's definitely goals to be had with their defence. So I'll go 2-0.
2-0. I'll go 2-1 to Celtic. I'll remain positive. I'm going for the victory as well. But see, to be fair, I do want to say thank you to everyone who's stuck with us. We've had over 50 live, probably averaging throughout the whole podcast, which is fantastic. All the comments coming in, it's been a great crack seeing it all, and everyone disagreeing and having different opinions. That's what it's all about. And I must say, Willie, it's been good to have you back on again. The trio of us is good crack, having a good laugh and getting stuck into everything Celtic. But yeah, lads, if you've enjoyed this one.
I mean, thoroughly enjoyed it. Good to be on with the old team again. The old Friday team.
The old Friday team. Willie, what about yourself, mate?
It's been great, mate. It's been good to be back. It's like I had a wee buzz this week. I was looking forward to coming on talking about us qualifying for the Champions League, right enough, but that put a wee bit of a dent in it. But no, it's been good to be back talking Celtic. I've not missed Monty, right enough.
No, but yeah, thanks for everyone for sticking with us. I'm going to try and end this stream, and hopefully it goes well, because, as I said, this is a new studio. But until next time, everyone, stay well and keep safe. Hail, hail.
Kiss a badge.